Good morning to all employers and management teams. This is Jamie and Peter, and we will be discussing how human resources efforts impact employees returning to work during COVID-19.
For starters, if we truly want to know how human resource can impact employees at this special time, we must ask ourselves why should they be informed about it. In the foreseeable future, management will struggle to select talents, reopening properties, and decide business proposals in the future. In the meantime, shortage of staff, work overloaded, and potential discrimination issues may occur during the employee's daily life. We learned about warm body syndrome in our previous module. I believe it will happen in the present and future. During this pandemic era, people are trying to find a way to pay their bills. They might not choose their best field of work. It is a challenge for human resource to find the right person for the right position. Based on Nevada Popular Radio, nationally around 40% of the hospitality workforce laid off during the pandemic. It will severely cause the shortage of staff and a work overloaded problem during the reopening. Currently, the hotel is facing low occupancy percentage and low average room rates. When they reopen their properties, the shortage of staff will be noticeable. The last thing I want to mention is potential discrimination issue in the workplace. During the pandemic, race, nationality, and age will be the people with potential discrimination cases. Knowing the reason behind the issue being introduced, what do we need to know? For the Human Resource Department, they need to establish a friendly working environment for the employees. As a Human Resource Department personnel, they should consider creating a temporary regulation to protect their employees in various groups who might facing discrimination issue at the workplace. During this time, the management team and strategic human resource personnel should develop a plan to reduce the pressure from present employees and help them with overloaded workload. It is a reasonable accommodation management can make for their employees. Employees should help management team to reinforce regulation and concept by apply. Employees should manage to stay vigilant. If they spot any possible questions, they should report immediately to the management team and human resource department.
As COVID-19 crisis increases, people, especially employees who have lost their job or who have had hours cut, are increasingly stressed. In fact, the insistence for mental health services has also increased. Along with social discord and politics, 2020 has taken a toll on most. According to Josh Burson, 20 million people have been moved from their jobs altogether. In 2008, during the financial crisis, chief financial officer's performance was taken to a whole new level. Now, COVID-19 has brought human resources to the front. This is because they are qualified in workforce resilience and human transformation. HR professionals have known their strategic important role, which is now being recognized more extensively. More people with HR backgrounds are being included in decision-making because of their expertise. We will definitely see this change, shift HR as one of the vital pillars in a business success. Additionally, emotional and mental health programs are being encouraged to employees who have lost their job or who have had hours cut or who are adjusting to working from home or who have changes due to health and safety. In Berson's news article, he stated that in the US, more than 80% have reported that the nation's future is a significant source of stress. This is a statement that employers, owners, and board members need to consider when hiring and creating job descriptions. We learned that COVID-19 expanded 20% of board members' involvement, and many companies are altering to a more modern board. This modern board is innovative because they work closely with HR. We are also seeing a positive interaction between board members and workers in order to help them cope with the changes that will be felt long after the crisis has ended. In a news article by Eva Sage Gavin, she made a valid point in stating that board members have advanced from thinking mostly about organizational resilience, but rather the resilience of individuals. While this has a lot to do with COVID, it also has to do with major events that happened this year, including Black Lives Matter and Time's Up movement and other natural disasters. While doing research, we quickly learned that HR professionals are reaching out to learn from each other and share their best practices. For example, in April, People Plus Work Connect was established to help people get back to work faster. Lincoln Financial Group, ServiceNow, and Verizon's chief HR officials worked together to launch the initiative that has 12 founding members, onboarding 250 members in the first week alone. This pandemic has shown management and owners that it is more than each individual business. It is about the industry and how they can work together to support each other and the nation. A food retailer in the UK, Sainsbury's, had a quick response to the pandemic, as they worked closely with the British Retail Consortium to examine customers and employees. They rapidly rolled out contact-free options for customers and mass virtual hiring as retail demand soared. Finally, newspapers and articles are encouraging employees to create programs, if they don't already have some, to support employees emotionally, mentally, such as stress management and resiliency programs.
With the explosion of those management issues mentioned in the last two slides, what changes should we expect to see? I divided this section into 4 pieces. I analyzed it based on the timeline during the pandemic and the post-pandemic era. It will provide a general idea to help management team and their employees back on track to their original goals. During the pandemic, management will expect employees to follow all the safety measures, connect from the floor to the upper manager, and the employees' ability to protect themselves during the pandemic. On the other hand, employees would expect the management team to solve any problems that might occur during their work. It is a difficult time financial-wise, so reasonable accommodation should be expected. The most important part is their health-related issues. Post-pandemic era is also worth thinking. After the pandemic, management would expect their employee to get ready for the grand reopening phase, solve any unsolved problems from the pandemic, and follow the new management guidelines. Also, internally, conducting performance examination to determine the right person for the right job. From employees' point of view, management team should help them reinforce their rights, award their hard works, and conduct new job analysis and rewrite job description if anything changed during the pandemic. Now that we have all the information and the facts in mind, how would science be available to assist us in the onward? Personal protection equipment can be the best scientific support management team can get for their employees. By wearing the PPE, our consumers will be rest assured they are in good hands and their experience can be improved by those extra safety measures. On the other hand, the PPE can reduce the possibility of infection during the workplace. Moreover, it can be a positive psychological impact. It shows care and consideration from the management team. In this case, employee might feel comfort and build up the morale during the pandemic. Also, creating a list for employee to understand the virus and the circumstances is also essential. By applying CDC guidelines, explaining the misconception for their during the work is also important. If they have any questions, management should hold any form of Q&A section to demonstrate any potential problems might occur.
Further newspapers and articles are concentrating on business models that HR professionals should adopt. In Jen Coletta's article, she targets agility and empathy, which we believe all HR professionals in this industry should adopt as they move to reopen and hire employees. Agility is a top strategy that business leaders suggest should be included in the Big Reset, which is the global business evolution prompted by COVID-19. This journey consists of 4 stages: react, respond, return, and transform. Each of these stages requires changes and innovation that are unique to each company. In the react stage, companies had to come to terms with the pandemic, set up disciplinary SWAT teams, and conduct daily meetings. HR and IT departments worked closely together while employees were sent home and retail was shut down. The response stage focuses on how they are going to adapt to a wide range of change in business practices, investing in online learning and training, changing leave and performance management policies, increasing communication, and even going as far as funding for home offices and family care. The return stage, which we are in right now, focuses on getting back to a almost full functioning business. Finally, in the transformation stage, it will be different from the total lockdown earlier this year, by redesigning for a new type of safety. Additionally, decisions are being made about jobs and skills required, where budget should be spent, and how employees should be staffed and organized. Of the many changes we will see in the hospitality industry, under such a plan suggested by Burson, we will see innovations such as contact tracing apps, elevator safe zones, infrared body scanners, and vibrating location sensors, and etc. COVID-19 is more than just an economic and health crisis. It is a societal one too. For the hospitality industry, it has represented new challenges every day. We encourage managers and employees to be extra careful when returning to work, as employees want companies that create value while leading strong values. HR, IT, and finance departments are working together to expand on new practices that we mentioned today, while managers build on or modify guidelines to meet local and state needs and circumstances. We believe now more than ever it is HR's moment to lead organizations in navigating the future. Research found through a strategic plan with careful training and communication, employees will be able to adjust to working from home and/or returning to work. Managers and employers should be empathetic towards workers and constantly encouraging and showing support, especially with the introduction of new and innovative policies and practices. HR professionals have the opportunity to provide workers with guidance on returning back to work amidst the pandemic and beyond.
The following slides will be our reference. Thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.